Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens, whatever you are, remember, we don't care. We just love you for joining us as we talk about Disney Plus and Marvel's She-Hulk Attorney at Law. This week, we are talking episode 3, The People versus Emil Blonsky. I'm Kuya P, and I'm always joined by the amazing Heather Don't Hurt Him, Heather Hurt from New Release Wednesday. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am always excited when we talk She-Hulk because, as you know, we've been talking about, the last 2 episodes and now going on to 3. I love this series. And as you know, we saw the first 4 before it even kicked off, and I love it. So to see it again and be able to talk about it now is freeing when you love something so much, and to share that love is just the best. So. Yep. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about episode 3, The People versus Emil Blonsky. As always, if this is your first time checking us out, Heather is going to give you the breakdown on the story. I'll go over some of the characters in this particular episode, and then we'll give our review. So you ready to kick it off, Heather?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay. So in this episode, we have it's Jennifer. There we go. Wait, there we go. I have Megan Thee Stallion behind me, and I'm sorry, guys. I just can't focus on anything else. So Jen is officially on Abomination, on Blonsky's case. She has officially taken over. At the end of episode 2, which I don't think we actually touched on, she had officially taken on the case, and right as she said that, and it's once again, it's where the series puts itself within the universe. Wong had him away to go fight in an arena, so he actually broke out, not on his own volition, which we find out during the show. Spoilers, by the way. And that happens right at the end of episode 2, and in episode 3, she has to contend with all of the issues that come into play when Blonsky is trying to get paroled. It doesn't look good when the Abomination literally breaks out of prison to go have a legal fight in another country. And so throughout the episode, Jen is trying to find witnesses. She's trying to prove that Blonsky was actually pulled out, not on his own volition. She gets a whole bunch of great people to come in and talk on his behalf. You find out that he's just this wonderful, great guy that appears. You should never assume anything because it is the MCU, that he appears to be rehabilitated, and he's actually helping others become rehabilitated in support. We get to meet his harem, his not a cult. And we also get an amazing moment that we'll talk about later with Megan Thee Stallion. And so yeah, that's where I will pause my storytelling for now.
All right, there you go. There's the breakdown somewhat on the story. Again, we'll get more into that with our review. But for the cast of this amazing episode of The People versus Emil Blonsky, returning is, of course, our Jennifer Walters, our She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany, who's Amazeballs, Ginger Gonzaga, our paralegal, who plays Nikki Ramos. Also returning is, of course, this is The People versus Emil Blonsky. We have Emil Blonsky, aka Abomination, Tim Roth, who to me in this particular series, the best we've seen him as this character. Yes, yeah, the Incredible Hulk, okay, but no, he's killing it now as his character. He's really grown into this role with this, and we're seeing it where it should be. So I love it. Shout out to Tim Roth. Holden Holloway is played by Steve Coulter. He's one of the lawyers in charge at the firm. I didn't give him a shout out earlier, but he returns in this episode. I believe this is the first time. I don't know if she was in the last episode. She's also part of this firm as Mallory Book, and that is Renee Elise Goldsberry, who we know from Hamilton fame, y'all. So I'm curious how she's going to play out because she is such a big name. Hello, Hamilton. She has a bit part in this. So I'm very curious, again, how she's going to go throughout the series as part of this superhuman law firm with all of our amazing characters. Who else? We got some new stuff. New characters. Runa, our elf from Asgard, who's making a little bit of trouble as Megan Thee Stallion is played by Peg O'Keefe. Shout out to her. Amazing actress. She did a killer job. She kind of steals her scenes as this Asgardian elf shapeshifter. Shout out to Peg O'Keefe. Some other amazing actors we see in this episode. Of course, Megan the Stallion. Hello. She is everything in this episode. Although she makes, subtle appearances, we see her played by Peg O'Keefe, our elf, but she has a nice little piece at the very end. Again, that's why, if you don't know, stay at the end of the credits, y'all. When you're watching these Marvel films as well as these Marvel shows, we get those tidbits, and that's where we get a fantastic piece with Megan the Stallion. Just an amazing job with her in this episode. Truly, truly love that. I also want to give a little shout out because I'm such a deep Marvel fan, as is Heather. We have a nod to the Wrecking Crew. There's these band of thieves who apparently steal an Asgardian construction workers tool set, and they try to jump our She-Hulk. They should know better. And she recognizes that fact as well, which is really played off amazingly in the script. She's Jennifer Walters. She's getting jacked, and then she realizes, oh, I'm She-Hulk. What the fuck? I got this. And lays waste to these supposed bad guys that are trying to jump her, or actually collect some blood, I think, because there's like a little tidbit at the very end there that kind of sneaks off at the very end. But the characters and listed on IMDb are the infamous Wrecking Crew, who we know from the comics books. But in this, a little bit depowered. I know some Marvel nerds, some fanboys got a little upset with this. If there is one aspect that I can be, okay, I kind of see your point of being upset because there's such bigger characters within the comic books. I can understand that, but I think it's played to a certain degree really well here. So there's actor Nick Gomez plays Wrecker, Justin Eaton plays Thunderball, and I don't see any of the other character names here listed for some of the other actors that I know that are part of the Wrecking Crew, but those are given a shout out. And but yeah, I if there's anything, I feel a nod to these fanboys, if you will, because I've been upset with fanboys, much like Heather as well, with some of their vibes. I can understand that to a degree, but I think it's written really well here. I like that they're stealing the Asgardian
gotta start somewhere.
Tools.
Gotta start somewhere.
It's interesting, but I want to also just highlight though that the actor that played Wrecker, Nick Gomez, my friend Jacqueline Amy, who's part of my Filipino Actors Barcada group, went with him to the premiere and stuff. So I don't know if they're dating or whatever, but I'm like, okay, Jacqueline, I see you. You messing with Wrecker now. I don't know, but shout out to her and Nick Gomez. I don't know. We'll find out. I want the tea now because I saw it on my IG. Anyway, those are the actors in this episode. Heather, I had a ball. You know my feelings. So what was your favorite part with episode 3?
And I there was only one thing that I truly said about She-Hulk prior to the screeners being released, because we couldn't talk about it, of course, because we have legal obligation. But there is one thing that I said when I was watching this film, this episode was, damn, do I wish I had the confidence of just a middle of the ground white man. God, do I wish I do. Such a big point of that. And the funniest thing about this show, once again, we've talked about this in previous reviews. The first episode was just a taste. The second and third is where this show does hit the ground running so hard. Seeing that Pug as the attorney and the dentist. There we go. Drew Matthews, who plays this very atypical white man who thinks that he can do anything and get anyone, just gets his comeuppance like hard in court, and it's just absolutely delicious to see every single female fan or non-male fan, not cisgender male fan, mostly white, just feel like, yes, there was so much happiness when that scene hit that it was just like, it was glorious. It was a glorious moment in entertainment history right there.
Yeah, you know what? I've neglected to mention Dennis Bukowski. Drew Matthews plays Dennis Bukowski, who's we happy to see what happens to him. And then Augustus Pugliese, played by Josh Segarra, as one of the other lawyers in the firm that represents Drew in this. And also Wong. Hello, Wong is back and makes an amazing cameo at the very end when he finds out he could get arrested for this. I have to go.
Did you just admit to a crime? I'm out.
It was amazeballs. So again, not to those amazing three brilliant actors right there as well. But this man at the very beginning, with what we knew, I don't know about you, but when we watched those first 4 episodes, I knew this episode would be somewhat controversial, personally, because I just know how ridiculous the state of the world is now, and how ridiculous as a fanboy, my compatriots as other fanboys who make fanboy such a bad name now. We're going to act towards this. And it sure enough did. But what I also loved, the brilliance of this, the writers of this were self-aware in the writing of this episode, even kind of talked about this within the episode itself, and how just people are in general. It's brilliant.
This show, just going back to the personability, the humanity that is in this show, it is exemplified in the self-awareness of the entire series. One of the things that we always make fun of, or you always hear fanboys say, is that real fans would never do this to She-Hulk. Real fans, blah, blah, blah. Honey bunches of oats. If you think this ain't a comic book character to the T, then you have never picked up a goddamn comic book in your life.
Especially also, not a She-Hulk one.
I would say not a comic book. Honey bunches of oats, sweetheart babies. The X-Men were a statement on the civil rights movement. Okay, we're there. We're good, honey. Also, all of the original comic creators were Jewish men who fought against the Nazis. Hello. So I'm gonna say comic books in general.
Yeah.
But to say that, sorry, I had to go on a tangent.
No, you never do that, so it's welcomed. You never do it. When you do, it's welcome.
But it's one of those where there are definite responses. One of the big things that I got the moment, like I have a friend who I think he's in the UK, a friend, someone I know on the tweeters, and he was just like, "Hey, you've seen this episode?" And I was like, "Yeah." It was like at 5:30 a.m. Eastern, and he's like, "Can you tell me that there's more of the Wrecking Crew?" And I'm like, I can't. I cannot tell you more. But he went on this short tirade about how he was really hoping for more. He wanted more. There is a big difference between fans wanting more and being upset about what they saw and wanting more of it, than being like, I'm pissed off that a woman has her own show, or I'm pissed off that She-Hulk is dancing with Megan Thee Stallion. Honey, Megan Thee Stallion's in the MCU. How are you upset about that? I am so sorry. How are you upset? But it was one of those where this episode really just defined comics in reality, and so much of it is controversial because it's always been controversial. It's always made statements. It's come forward. I'm honestly, one of the things that we still aren't talking about is the fact that friggin' Abomination has a cult. Why aren't we talking about that? Why are we so concerned?
Yeah. And how is that going to turn out, and all of that? And is he now reformed, and what? There's a lot going on. A lot of future plot threads that we could see starting off right now. Absolutely. That is just, I'm digging it, yo. I'm digging it.
Absolutely. This episode was so much fun. It was really great seeing fans really getting into it with this episode. People who were really questioning it seem to be coming out of the woodworks like, oh my God, I was surprised at how much I'm loving this show. It plays on itself. There are so many great puns. It's so much. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Yes, every bit of it. Yeah, I like. Can we talk about Peg O'Keefe, our Asgardian elf Runa? Like, was she just not brilliant too? Like,
she's adorable.
I could see her making fun and jokes, being that wacky that Loki was in his very early appearances. Now he's kind of super powered, and well, he's Loki. Not that he's always been super powered, but you know what I'm saying? He was a trickster. but we don't get
Absolutely.
trickster Loki like we do now. You know what I'm saying? He's because where he's at now, and we'll see with the new Loki series, the season 2. But they're not going to play him off like that now because he's such a different type of character for the MCU now. So we get to have this Runa character who's just amazeball and gets to be that laughter slash interesting dynamic that can change world events when you can. Come on now, anybody shapeshifter. We know that's what they played brilliantly with Mystique in the X-Men franchise. When you have any character that can be somebody else, you can make amazing moves that changes everything with that. So I just thought played for laughs though in this, done brilliantly, and then to a brilliant way to include popular culture with that Meg Thee Stallion reference that just becomes actually reality, and just again showing this dichotomy of this Dennis Bukowski character who is so big-headed, which to me also speaks volumes of other men here in the world. Just
white men, my friends. White men.
That thing you could actually nail and get Meg Thee Stallion, really, dude, and just play for laughs, but just done so brilliantly. Just bravo, MCU. Just well done.
That's when he comes out of the office and he still hasn't figured it out, and he's like, she was really in there. You think I could go ask her out?
Yeah, that's crazy,
real,
right?
People, that's so real.
And the memeness of when Wong finds out, they want to talk to him. Okay, well, Wong, you still you could be arrested. Oh, I'm out of here. Peace. See you later. Deuces. Just come on now. The writing on this is brilliant.
So good. And it feels like a comic book. It feels like a comic book.
Yes.
So
in every way.
You can feel the passion of comic book fans behind it. And it's only going to get better. And the thing is we finally, one of the great things that we have with characters like the Wrecking Crew who are just starting in, once again, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. But, and what do you think of that? If they are going to be the final Wrecking Crew, or just that slight introduction, and or just saying that it was stolen Asgardian construction worker. What? How awesome is that?
I mean, I love them. I'm so excited. The way that it's you already knew they were the Wrecking Crew before they even were announced. You felt it, everything. I'm excited for it. Also, once again, it connects her to a wider, vaster universe.
Yes,
we have
right there.
We have Shang-Chi references. We have Doctor Strange references. We have an X-Men reference. We have Planet Hulk references. We have this entire vast universe that are really coming into a collective. And it's a really great feeling. And the Wrecking Crew they're going to be so much fun. We do have plot points finally, which is honestly to me was my only concern about having a series that was so long.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we actually get more, because usually with these series, I feel like they just don't give enough. Like give us one more episode. Give us one more episode and we will be happy. But giving us 3 more episodes seemed like a lot. But we are now getting into a plot that could really just exponentially impact the entire universe. Or the entire current universe.
Yeah.
So like, it's great to just go along with this, right?
Yeah. Yo. So let's get. I want to nerd out a little bit. You know. So what? Well, actually, let me go with the easy one first, because that one I'm still. On books. What do we think of Mallory Brooke, the other superhuman lawyer? Well, she's not superhuman, but Renee Elise Goldsberry from Hamilton. What do we think is going to happen there?
I'm ready to see more of all of them. I want to see more of Pug. I want to see who this organization is really going to be absolutely fascinating. And as we know, this is not a spoiler because it was announced in the trailer. Daredevil is going to be here. So we have lawyers from every line of lawyerdom coming in. So it will be a lot of fun to see how they interact and what the MCU gives them. Will they be someone we're not expecting? Could they be someone we think they are? And I am very excited to see who Mallory is within the MCU.
So yeah, and that was partially my question was, is Pug and or Mallory Book lawyers from the comic, or are they new characters in this series?
I do not recognize them. However, If you are a true comic book fan, I'm talking to the audience, not you. So you will not know everyone. It's okay to not know everyone. I am not 1,000% aware of them, but I'm also more of a DC fan than I am a Marvel fan. So please follow. Please, I apologize for not knowing some of the lesser characters. They do not. Pug does sound familiar. I'm not sure what his role is. Mallory Brooke, I do not recognize. I'm sure I'm sure we could Marvel wiki them pretty easily. But it's one of those where it's no matter what, they could also be different in the MCU. And you know what? That's completely okay.
Yeah, sometimes they base characters off of existing characters and to just shuffle it around a little bit. I was just half curious because I know you know some deeper points than I do sometimes.
I wish I knew more. I wish I could give you more. But you know what? I'm also, if you contact me on any of the Instagram or any of the socials and you want me to talk about it, I will do the research and I will get you that information.
So. Hey, look at her. Look at her. All right. So my other question is this whole kind of hanging plot thread with the Wrecking Crew. Mm-hmm. Their whole mission was to get blood, I think. Weren't they trying to stab her with like an injection to get blood? So that to me is like, okay, they're trying to get a blood, superhuman, like formula that created Captain America, that created the Hulk, or at least, MCU, Mm-hmm. If I were to talk Marvel, the inner nerd just came out of me because I know from the experiments and all that, it's a different thing. But in here, building a superhuman, and so that's who's behind that.
Yes, it would be interesting to know who is coming up where, and I'm very excited to learn more about what they're doing. I also think so much of that plays on the stereotypes about women in general. The Hulk, Bruce Banner, is no longer on world. They went after the female version of the character who, devastated them, of course. But there's now a target that she can fulfill within the need for Bruce Banner's blood. So I'm curious if they're going to play on any aspect of the fact that she is literally carrying a very similar blood type.
What are they trying to do with that blood, man?
What are they trying to do with it? They've already tried to replicate it and it failed technically. So what are they trying to do with her specifically, which I'm curious about. So yeah. So any theories at all? Have you formulated any theories? The U.S. military has some problems. That's my opinion.
Are we going to see Thunderbolt Ross come back? We're going to get a Red Hulk? I don't know. And then I think I saw where do you think Bruce is going in that spaceship? I saw some people saying he's going to Sakaar. I
mean, that's the ship that he's in. So
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And as a nerd and as a fan, I'm excited. I'm just excited.
There are a lot of Planet Hulk references so far in the show. And that's of course his next film. So it's exciting. I would love to see a Red Hulk, and I'd love to see some other renditions of Hulk and She-Hulk. So it'll be exciting.
Good times as a fan. Another brilliant episode, The People versus Emil Blonsky. Can't wait for that next episode, even though we already kind of have an idea, but we're excited. Again, it's fun revisiting it and now being able to talk to y'all about it. Heather, how can the people reach out to you if they want to talk about episode 3?
You can ask me all the questions that I'm not 100% sure on the tweeters at NerdIsAHeather and on Instagram and TikTok at HeatherIsANerd. And as reference, Megan Thee Stallion, if you're paying attention, I would also kill for you.
I love it. And for me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, here at the NRW and at Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world, where both Heather and I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Till next time, y'all, hit us up in the comments if you want to talk about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. I love
S01E03.